All right, we're back. The State of Cowboys Nation. Welcome back for episode 6. Let's go ahead and talk about the breaking news here, and that's the Dallas Cowboys finally getting themselves a defensive coordinator. They grabbed the passing games coordinator slash defensive backs coach from the Philadelphia Eagles, Christian Parker, to be the new defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. What do y'all think about that? My opinion, I think it's a pretty good hire for a couple reasons. You know this guy, he's been taught well. He's got great mentors because he coached under Vic Fangio for 5 years. About three years in Denver, and then a couple with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was a defensive coordinator and then head coach of the Broncos. Also, he worked under Mike Pettin with the Green Bay Packers. Pettin has had great staffs in the past, especially when he was with the Cleveland Browns. You might recognize a few names that were on that staff: Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan, of coaches, but you get the point here. I think this is a good hire. It also takes him away from Philadelphia, where right now they're having a lot of panic in the coaching department, a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of mayhem for the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's a great thing for the Cowboys. Dallas steals him from a division rival. A lot of things going on with the Eagles. I like it. You knew the Cowboys weren't going to go for a home run hire of Brian Flores, Mike Tomlin, anybody like that could take shine away from Schottenheimer being the head coach, head man in charge. Getting a young coach makes sense. What I don't understand is if they're going to go the young route, why didn't they keep Al Harris instead of hiring Eberflus to begin this new regime? I get it. He did coach under Dan Quinn, dumb Dan Quinn, I like to call him. I don't get it. Al Harris has had a great defense, especially with the defensive backs, great relationships with the defensive backs that are already on the Cowboys, and as well as when he made his next stop with the Chicago Bears. The Bears' defensive backs weren't great until they got healthy. Once they were running at full strength and healthy, that Bears defensive back group improved a ton. And a lot of that goes to Al Harris. Al Harris is a star in the making, and he'll get a job soon. I thought it was going to be with the Dallas Cowboys, but I guess not. We've got Christian Parker. And it looks like, just reading Twitter and some tweets that are coming out from players, a lot of the players, including Cooper DeJean, are not happy with Parker leaving. They credit him a lot of their success so far in their growth. He did work with a lot of young defensive backs: DeJean, Blankenship, Quinyon Mitchell. These are also upcoming stars for Philadelphia. Maybe contracts in a couple years might be up, and maybe Cowboys might snag something to boost up their improving, growing defense. So let's get down to brass tacks here. One, I don't think Parker could be any worse than Matt Eberflus was. I do think, and I hold this opinion like I did earlier in the season. We talked about that Eberflus needed more time with that defense because all of those players, they didn't fit his defensive scheme. They fit Dan Quinn's defensive scheme. The tackling safeties, the box safeties were basically linebackers, not having any linebackers, not having a strong defensive front until the second half of the season. But all in all, Dallas fell short when they needed the defense the most. And it's hard to ignore when the Cowboys have a number one offense, but a last place defense. So there had to be one of us left in the wreckage, and it was Matt Eberflus. In steps Christian Parker. I like the hire, something different, something out of left field. This could work out for Dallas for those reasons. Low expectations, but in reality, Dallas has high expectations. We all know that. Cowboys supposed to win the Super Bowl every season, right? But you can't get any worse than the bottom of the barrel in defense, and you're gonna have a full season with that defensive line group who is insane right now. Clowney, a free agent. You have edge rushers that are extremely young and growing and were very good in their rookie seasons. You have linebacker groups that they're trying to figure it out, and they also need to figure out what in the world's happening with these safeties and cornerbacks. We have a whole offseason. We have free agency, and of course, the draft. Cowboys are going to have a pretty top draft pick, couple good draft picks. So with the Packers losing, that also helps Dallas's draft. We still have to wait and see how this plays out. But welcome in defensive coordinator Christian Parker, the new defensive coordinator for your Dallas Cowboys. Again, thanks for liking, subscribing, following. Leave us some comments. I want to know what y'all think. Let's hear the trolls, especially the Eagles fans that are always out trolling. But again, thanks for following. State of Cowboys Nation's episode 6. We'll see y'all next time.